Before you leave,
I want to meet him.
I have some Father's Day questions that I'm asking
Oh, good.
everybody.
Okay. I can't wait. Favorite memory? Well, I don't want to get into anything too emotional.
Oh, we did cry during you too. We can cry again.
Yeah. We were both at together. We will never. Neither of us will forget this. We were both at Game 3 of the World Series in San Francisco when the earthquake happened.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that moment, I was there just to be with the father and son. It was just I was on vacation and ended up working 11 days straight as soon as that happened. But he told me later that when that started, I was a little bit not sure what was happening because I'd been out of California for a while. So when the earthquake started at Game 3 at Candlestick, I really wasn't sure what was happening. I thought everybody was doing this in the stands, and I turned to my dad. I said, they better cool it or they're going to bring this place down. He goes, no, this is an earthquake. And he literally told me that he said, I've had a good life, but he really thought the deck might come down above us.
Oh my goodness.
He said, I've had a good life. I feel badly for John because he's a young guy. He literally had those kind of thoughts.
Oh, that's
we talked
horrible.
about it. Yeah. So that's a memory that obviously binds us, because it was an experience to go through that and get out of there and talk about it years later. And they're just tearing down Candlestick. They're almost finished tearing it down. A lot of childhood memories in that stadium.
Aww.
But there's so many, I can't even tell you. We're extremely close.
You have to put them in a book.
Okay, I'll give you a memory, and this is a true story. Robbie Corelli, my buddy, about 2 blocks towards Hamilton Park baseball field. We were playing ball in his front yard. So his front yard faces this huge baseball field, right? And my dad at the time was leasing helicopters to a gentleman who, believe it or not, was a Vietnam helicopter pilot and also was a helicopter for some of the presidents in previous years. So we're playing ball, and all of a sudden, this helicopter, and I didn't know this at the time, I'm probably about maybe 11, 12 years old. There's a helicopter landing on the baseball field, and Robbie Corelli is like, what the heck is this? What is this? There's a helicopter landing right over here, and I'm like, yeah, what is this? And about 10 seconds later, I go, hey, that's my dad.
Oh my gosh.
So my dad, it looked like there was
crazy.
He gets his briefcase, and he kind of is playing it up too. And Robbie Corelli, his jaw dropped, and I'm thinking, man, that's pretty cool. He gets out of the helicopter. So he was getting a ride home via helicopter at this baseball field right about 2 blocks from our house. And my dad has the briefcase, and he walks casually and walks to our house. And at the time, there was a commercial, a Glad commercial, and the man from Glad would actually be land by helicopter and get off with his briefcase, and my dad was doing his man from Glad helicopter impression.
That is
But that's
amazing.
just a simple, a very simple
That's
reflection.
like a typical Tuesday for your
that was
dad.
just
Your dad
another-
was so over the top and fun.
He was a very interesting character, to say the least.
Well, I'll tell you guys a story that I did for him on his 90th. But if I tell you this, you're going to think that this is just, I don't know. I don't tell a lot of people this. I haven't told a lot of people this. I certainly didn't even talk about it on Facebook or anything. But for my dad's 90th, we both play a lot of golf together. We've played golf in some really cool places. A really good friend of mine is Dan Hicks, who does golf for NBC. And I called Dan about a year before my dad's 90th, and I said, Dan, is there any way, and Dan had played a lot of golf with my dad and I said, is there any way that we could get Oliver on Augusta National, where they play the Masters? And even Dan said, he goes, oh man.
This is going to be tough.
Because that is going to be tough. But he made it happen.
Wow.
And we went for his 90th and played it.
That is so
incredible. It was unbelievable to go there with my father and do that. Because that's one of those things, if you're a golfer, to ever get a chance to go there, it's on the bucket list, but you pretty much pull it out because it's impossible. It's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
My favorite memory. I'll tell you, it's interesting. first of all, and I don't know if this is a byproduct of being from a poor family, but we were a very poor family with 9 kids and very little money. And when I was in 3rd grade, there was a pumpkin on a sheet, and we were supposed to color it. And the only crayon I had was purple.
Oh.
So I colored it purple. And the teacher gave me a D. The sister, the nun, she gave me a D because it was purple.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I remember I went home and I was real sad, and I was in my room and I was crying. And my dad came in and he said, "What's going on? What's the matter?" My dad's not a very sentimental guy. You know, I go, "Oh, what's the matter here? What's going on?" And so I told him, I showed him the picture. I said, "Look, I stayed in the lines." He grabbed that out of my hand. He said, "Come on." And off to the school we went. Oh boy. He went into that classroom and he wasn't mean or nasty or anything, but he just said, "Hey, look, it's the only crayon the guy had." You know? So what if it was purple?
I know.
He stayed in the lines. And she changed it to a B.
That breaks my heart. I love that story.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a great dad story.
And this is my dad and I at Hook Road.
Oh my! Look at those hunks. That's a great picture.
Now he's 90, and he looks
Aw.
pretty damn good for 90, doesn't he?
He does. Look at how sweet he is.
I'm falling apart, but he looks great. So he was back actually at Lee Summit High School to get inducted. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Lee Summit High School.
Your dad's famous.
Wow. In Lee Summit,
He
yes.
is.
They got him in at 90. He was a tremendous athlete, played baseball at Missouri, ran track at Missouri. Faroe wanted him to play football at Missouri, but he was in the middle of World War II. So he left for a while, came back after his service in the Navy.
Wow.
He was a pilot in the Navy.
Oh,
He's a
interesting.
really interesting guy.
Then your favorite memory of your dad.
Oh, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something, and he took me and my little brother, who at the time was like 4, on a camping trip, like a, guys getaway weekend, and it was an absolute disaster. It was,
It was like what?
it rained,
Ron Wood, what
we
sitcoms
couldn't get
you
a
made up?
fire going, so we were like
Aw.
super hungry. We had to go ask fellow campers for food. I mean, it was just,
Oh my
because we
gosh.
couldn't cook. So it was just, and so my dad actually talks about that to this day. It was just like one of those out of a movie. It sounded so it was going to be so much fun, and then it was just a disaster.
That's adorable. I love it.